Okay, Hare Krishna. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 15 and verse. We read till 12, right? So we'll read 13 today. Okay, yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritye Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. Okay, we're reading 1.15.13. Would someone like to read this verse?
I can try, Mataji. It's okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, please read.
Tatraiva me viharato bhujadandayugmam.
Tatraiva me viharato bhujadandayugmam.
Gandiva lakshanam arati vidyaya deva.
Gandiva-lakshanam arativadhaya deva.
Sendraha shrita yad anubhavitam ajamidha.
Sendrashrita yadanubhavitamajamida.
Tenaham adyamusita purena vomana.
Tena madhyamushita purushena bhumna.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. When I stayed for some days as a guest in the heavenly planets, all the heavenly demigods, including King Indradev, took shelter of my arms, which were marked with the Gandiva bow. To kill the demon named Nivata Kavacha. O King, descendant of Ajamedha, at the present moment I am bereft of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose influence I was so powerful. Purport: the heavenly demigods are certainly more intelligent, powerful, and beautiful, and yet they had to take help from Arjun because of his Gandiva bow, which was empowered by the grace of Lord Shri Krishna. The Lord is all powerful, and by his grace, his pure devotee can be as powerful as he may desire, and there is no limit to it. And when the Lord withdraws his power from anyone, he is powerless by the will of the Lord. Hare Krishna. So here Arjun is explaining this by explanation of Arjun. It is a perfect example for us to understand that how uh, even devotee becomes powerful when Lord Sri Krishna is with that devotee. So here in case of Arjuna, he was like demigods were more powerful or more intelligent, as this purport is explaining. But because Arjuna had blessing of Lord Shri Krishna, he was saving them, or like, the demigods were taking shelter of Arjuna. So it was all happening because of the blessing of Lord Shri Krishna. So that's all I understand. Mataji, please add. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, this is the pastime from when Arjuna went to heavenly planet and the demigods took help from him to kill this demon, Nivata Kavacha. And like you so rightly described, that everything, all the opulences, like Krishna says, come from me. The ability, I'm the ability in the man. So he's everything. Everything comes from him. So if he wants, he can empower somebody, even a common man. And Arjuna was a great devotee. So he can imbue his devotees with power. He can empower them so they can do unimaginable tasks. Like Prabhupada is an example of what a liberated soul, what somebody who's under the shelter of Krishna can accomplish. Even in Kali Yuga, even in a short lifespan, with all these fallen souls, how he was able to deliver them. So similarly, Arjuna is giving his own example how Krishna, if he chooses to empower somebody, such great things can happen. Okay, would anyone like to add? Prabhuji, I don't know if he's available to share anything.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam, Mataji. Please share, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, just one small thing I just wanted to share, that how, I think it's one quality that we can definitely imbibe, that how Arjuna, in so many verses, he's giving credit to Krishna. Devotee is a person who, or an individual who never takes credit for anything. Actually, Arjuna by himself also, he was such a powerful warrior. And, he could have easily taken credit for all these different, different feats that he performed. And, but as we can see here, how Arjuna, he is actually giving Krishna the credit. He's, and this is true humility. Many times, we get praised, we get applauded, or, many things, many ways, others will try to encourage us, by saying so many things, so many nice things. But sometimes it can be a trap also. The way, when we hear it, it's very nice that they're encouraging us, but many times it is a trap for our false ego. It is actually one of those, attacks from Maya. When we are hearing, it sometimes boosts our false ego, and it sometimes makes us feel very, very, makes us feel as if we are the doers of our feats, of the many achievements that we have, achieved or whatever. But here we can see Arjuna, such a great personality. He is, giving all the credit to Krishna. So, so actually one of the very nice qualities we can imbibe from him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you, Mataji. It reminds me of one of the pastimes of Prabhupada. I don't know if somebody shared it recently in the group here or I heard somewhere else, but so one time there was a devotee there was a devotee who was not initiated yet. He had come from some other he was following some other path of spirituality and was still exploring Krishna consciousness, and he was very much inspired, but he had still not taken initiation yet from Prabhupada. still waiting for for something to click or some sort of realization to happen before he would submit. So one time there was Mangal Aarti going on, and everybody was singing the Guru Aarti for Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was sitting there, and he was also singing Guru Aarti. And so this devotee asked another devotee, "We are all singing for him. Who is he singing for? Why is he singing?" So the devotee replied, "Whatever applauds we are giving to him, whatever we are prayers we are submitting to him, he's passing them on to his guru. So he's not keeping anything for himself. He's passing all the acknowledgement to his guru, actually, to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And so when he's hearing our prayers to him, he's passing along those prayers to his guru, and that's why he's singing." So when that devotee heard this, he was that was his moment when things suddenly clicked, that this is such a great soul who has accomplished the unthinkable, and he's also sitting here, so many people, surrounded by so many followers, so many devotees, and yet he is thinking of his own guru. He's immersed in the prayers to his guru. This was so inspiring to him that he surrendered completely to Prabhupada and took initiation after that. So in this way, like Mataji shared, the devotees don't take any credit for themselves. When they get any acknowledgements, applauds, accolades, they pass them on to their guru and to Krishna. That it's only by your mercy that I'm able to do anything. And with my own effort, I would be it wouldn't be nothing. So it is that is why in this path, the mercy of Vaishnavas, the mercy of Guru, mercy of Radharani and Krishna is so important. And with our acharan, with our body, through our body, mind, word, through everything, we attract. We're always trying to attract mercy, the blessings, the prayers of other devotees and seniors and everybody, so that we can maintain on this path. Otherwise, it's very hard by our own efforts to stay on this path. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. Anybody else would like to add anything?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing the nice pastime of Prabhupada. Yes, Mataji, it's definitely the safest place for us. When we take shelter of our seniors, when we take shelter of our guru, Krishna, we should know that we are in a safe place. Otherwise, very easy to, be taken over by false ego. Very easy for us to actually fall down in the path if we start taking credit ourselves. Thank you for sharing, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Anand Kishori, and thank you, Natasha Mataji. Very nice points. Beautiful point Anand Kishori made, and nice pastime Mataji shared. So I have a question. So it was said that Arjuna is so humble that Arjuna did all these things. Now he's giving the credit to Krishna. Somebody can ask this question that so was it Krishna who was doing all these things, or was it Arjuna who was doing all these things? And Arjuna is giving credit to Krishna because of his humility and his, basically desire of not taking credit.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I can try to answer unless somebody else would like to.
Maji, why don't you start and then others can share after that?
So Prabhuji, I'll share from my understanding of Bhagavad Gita and other things we've learned so far. So, like according to Bhagavad Gita, we talk about in 5th chapter who is the doer. We talk about the concept of doer, who is the real doer. So there are three parties involved. One is the jiva, the spirit soul, who desires to perform certain action or desires to act in some way. then there is material nature that arranges various resources, or according to the three modes of material nature, things are arranged in such a way that that action can be performed. And but Krishna is or Paramatma is the sanctioner of that desire. He sanctions the desire, or the according to the free will of the jiva. So if the spirit soul, even if if they desire to do something wrong, something bad, the Paramatma will try to dissuade them, and that is their, what we call guilt consciousness, or um, uh, people know that they don't feel so good about doing something wrong. That is the Paramatma trying to guide them that this is not the right path. But anyhow, they keep on that path, and so finally Paramatma will sanction, because he's not a he's not he does not act as our master. He lets us choose our actions, and then we get karma accordingly. So if we desire to do something that, and we are really set on that path, sometimes those things will be sanctioned by Krishna. Now, for devotees, although they always submit to Krishna, they're always surrendered to the will of Krishna. So their will, their free will, their desires are aligned with Krishna. So Krishna especially empowers them when they set out to perform, because they're in complete Krishna consciousness. They're not doing anything for themselves. They're always trying to act according to Krishna, like anukulyasya sankalpa, right? They always want to do what is favorable for Krishna consciousness. So when they are on that path, they're always surrendered to Krishna. Krishna empowers them sometimes to perform great things, like Arjuna here. Um, and these even seemingly impossible things can happen and become possible when one is surrendered completely to Krishna. So this is what I understand, Prabhuji. There may be a lot of gaps in the understanding. Please correct.
So Mati, what is the answer then? Is Arjuna that humble person here giving credit to Krishna, or is it Krishna doing to Arjun? What is the answer?
So definitely, Prabhuji, Arjun is doing a task by deciding to, kill the demon to help demigods, but he cannot do that without Krishna's help. So if Krishna decides to take away the power of his Gandiva, or it takes away the knowledge needed, like Karna, how he forgot at the right time the mantra, could not recall the weapon, so he could not do anything. So if Krishna decides that, okay, Arjun will now forget how to use Gandiva, or how to use his strength, the resources that he has, then he's powerless. So factually, without so Arjun is just a tool. He's just an instrument. Krishna is the one who is making it happen. It's like an author or a writer writing with a pen. We never say pen wrote this book. We say that the writer wrote this book. So the pen is just an instrument to make things happen, but thing is done by the writer, which is Krishna.
So then, if Arjun is just a pen, then where does the point comes that Arjun is humble and he's doing this? Then the
Because
credit is only.
Prabhuji, Arjun agreed to become a pen in his hand. He's surrendered to not act according whimsically, but to become that instrument in the hands of Krishna, so that Krishna can accomplish things that he wants to. This is what I understand, Prabhuji. Please.
No, exactly. That is the point
And
here.
Hare Krishna. Can I add a point? I think Mataji spoke beautifully. She applied Bhagavad Gita very nicely. I just wanted to answer the same question using Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. To answer your question about who is actually acting in these different pastimes or feats, If you understand this using what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught, you can actually say that both are doing it. Krishna is also doing it, Arjuna is also doing it. And that is the beauty of Krishna's divine intervention in our life, that it appears as though Arjuna is doing it, but Krishna is there. He's the, like Mataji said, he's the sanctioner, he's the main person behind. So it appears as though Arjuna is doing it, but it could be this, but it could be that as well. So Achintya Veda Veda.
Hare, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, so the credit definitely is something which always conditioned souls they want to take. Conditioned nature means they want to take credit for even those things which they have not done. What to say of those things which they have done by any chance, or if they have remotely been associated with it. So certainly that is the conditioned nature. However, Arjun in this case, he is remembering all those past, getting any success in the material world. And instead of thinking that, see, all those things I did it with my friend Krishna, who has now left me, he is thinking all these things actually happened only by Krishna, only through his arrangement, his mercy, his. In that sense, Arjuna is humble because he is realizing the facts, he's knowing the facts, and he agreed to really wanting to take credit for it. So from that perspective, Arjuna actually is the we can say Mahabhagavad devotee here. That's what great devotees do. Through which Krishna's mercy flow. That's what a guru is. When Prabhupada says these wonderful shlokas he is explaining, he says that these are written by Krishna himself. So what is the difference in anybody else's writing and his? Krishna use him as an instrument for doing service for the mission of Krishna. And that is why Srila Prabhupada focused on Krishna, and Krishna is basically focusing on fulfilling the mission of Srila Prabhupada. And of course, in that, Krishna is glorifying Srila Prabhupada. So this is a beautiful example here, which Anand Kishori very nicely mentioned, that how Arjuna is related to Krishna, and recognizing that all these things actually did not happen without Krishna's will. Like sometimes people will say, okay, the fact is anyone can be more powerful than anyone else depending upon whom Krishna wants to act in what way. And because these great personalities are letting Krishna decide that and agreeing to act in that manner, that's why they are great personalities. Otherwise, in material world, we don't see that happening. In material world, there is a competition for everything. But great personalities, there is not like that. In fact, there is a pastime when the Goswamis were in Vrindavan. At that time, one of the big Digvijay Pandit who was conquering everywhere, that see, I am so powerful, I am so good in debate, in knowledge of scriptures, Shastra, that I can defeat anybody. So this person, he went to Vrindavan. After conquering so many different places, different Pandits, he heard the name of Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. So he decided, okay, I'll go there and I will defeat them and I will have them sign the Vijay Patra. Vijay Patra means the letter which says that how this particular Pandit, he debated and won against you. So you have to sign it. So like that, he was going around conquering. I don't know if his name was Roop Narayan. If anybody remembers, I think it was probably Roop Narayan, if I remember correctly. So this person, he actually goes to Roop Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and he tells them, okay, I want to debate with you. So they're okay, debate? Why? He said, no, I want to debate because I'm going around debating everyone and I'm going to have you guys sign this letter here, Vijay Patra, showing that how I have defeated you. So Rup Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they were busy in very serious service to Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they didn't have time for all this nonsense. So he said, oh, we can just sign it right now. What is the use in getting into, said, okay, yeah, you want to say, oh, you defeated? Yes. They immediately took, okay, we are defeated in debate. Khatam. They signed it, he took it, and he's jumping, dancing. Now I have even defeated the Rup Goswami and Sanatana Goswami Vrindavan. So he went forward, then he met Srila Jeev Goswami. And he said, oh, I've heard his name also. So he told him also, I want you to sign this Vijay Patra, which says that you've defeated in debate. So Jeev Goswami said, what? He said, yes. In fact, your uncles have also signed. Rup Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they've already signed that defeated. Now, seeing this, Jeev Goswami, he was kind of triggered. What? You will defeat Rup Goswami? You will defeat Sanatana Goswami? He saw the patra. He said they just signed it because they didn't want to waste time arguing with such a foolish nonsense like you. What is Rup Goswami, Sanatana Goswami? I can easily defeat you. So then said, okay, let's have a debate. So they debated. And they debated for quite a bit of time. But Jeev Goswami, he easily defeated this man. So this is how we see devotees. They don't waste time in getting pride, prestige, or taking credit. They are ready to let go all these things and focus on what their service is, ultimate goal is. In fact, one devotee was saying, sometimes even if a pure devotee writes something and signs, that may not necessarily be true. Said, what are you saying? Pure devotee, if he writes something and signs, then it has to be true. Said, no. Then he quoted this story. Let's see, Rup Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they signed. So the point here is that devotees are so humble that they will not have any intention of glorifying themselves. And this is actually the fact. All jivas can, if they take such a position and understand that any good thing which is happening is actually happening because of Krishna's mercy, and any bad thing which is happening because of my mistake, then our life will be successful. So those who are pure devotees, they know this. But those who are uh, wanting to enjoy the fruits of material world, they have different expectations, and therefore they want to enjoy material fruits, and then the result is they get material reactions, which actually leads to more suffering. So just wanted to share that. Thank you. Stop it.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. That was a nice story. Very bold.
Mataji, you presented Narottam Das Thakur one time. Do you remember if Roop Narayan was that king, minister?
I didn't present Narottam Das Thakur, Prabhuji. I did.
Last year,
I did
Srinivasacharya.
Srinivasacharya, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is Roop Narayan.
Roop
You're
Narayan,
right. Yeah.
the
I
one
listened
with
to
who had an argument with Roop
with
Goswami.
Sanatan
Oh,
Goswami.
sorry.
It was Sanatan Goswami who signed the Vijay Patra, and then Jeev Goswami was extremely, unhappy that he is declaring defeat against, the Vaishnava philosophy, or he's declaring victory against. So, so he goes and he has a debate with Roop Narayan.
And the same Roop Narayan later on, he goes to a king and becomes a minister, and then afterwards he is initiated by Narottam Das Thakur. Is that right?
No.
When they call Ganga Narayan Chakravarti and his other disciples are Narottam Das Thakur, Ramchandra Kaviraj, Nandana Chakravarti and others, they are there. And then
Ramchandra Kaviraj was disciple of Srinivasacharya.
I know.
But
he was
this,
very close friend of Narottam Das Thakur.
yes,
And
yes.
Gananayan Chakravarti, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, they all plan to they become the Matke Wala, Pan Wala and all. And then they defeat these people. So at that time, the king and the parade which was going, in that the minister, I think, is the same person, this Roop Narayan. You remember?
I don't remember that specifically, but I know Ganga Narayan Chakravarti is a different personality who takes initiation from. He was also a great scholar, but when he sees the devotion of the happiness, the bliss that Hari Ram and Ramakrishna were in, he then decides, that he should also have a guru, and then he becomes a disciple of Narottam Das Thakur. But he was also a great scholar. Specifically regarding Roop Narayan, I don't recall. Sorry.
Yeah. No, all those I am talking about after they have already taken initiation and they have gone, then later on this pastime happens. So I was just connecting both the pastimes. Anyways, so I think this was another time when Jeev Goswami was checked by Roop Goswami, and he was not. I should say just for the Leela sake, just like all of you remember how one time Vallabhacharya, he came at that time. Roop Goswami, he was not very happy that Jeev Goswami debated with him. Similarly, in this situation also, Roop Goswami was not very happy that Jeev Goswami, he wasted his time debating with this idiot. So that's how the Leela in the past time, it was used to show the humility of Jeev Goswami also, how he was again in a similar way, and this thing happened, and Jeev Goswami was very repentive that he has so much ego, even though there was no ego. So Over to you, Natasha. Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji, Mataji, for sharing. Shall we move to the next one?
Yes.
Okay, would someone like to read this?
I can read Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yad bandhava kuru balabdim ananta par
Yad bhavan
Kuru
kuru
Balabdim
ananta
Anantaparam.
Second, I'll try again. Yad bandhava kuru balabdim ananta param. Yad
Yad
bandhava
Balabdim
balabdim ananta
Anantaparam.
ego rathena tatarehamatiria sattvam.
Eko
Eko
Rasena
Rathena
Tatare
Tatare Aham Atriya Sattvam.
प्रत्यारतं बहुधनं च मया परेषां
Pratyartam
प्रत्यारतं बहुधनं
bahudhanam
च
cha
मया
maya
परेषां
Parisham.
तेजास्पदं मणिमयं च ऋतं शिरोभ्य
Tejaspadam
Padam
Manimayam
च
Charitam
ऋतं
Shritam Srirobhya.
शिरोभ्य Translation. The military strength of the Kauravas was like an ocean in which there dwelled many invincible existences, and thus it was insurmountable. But because of his friendship, I, seated on the chariot, was able to cross over it. And only by his grace I was able to regain the cows and also collect by force many helmets of the kings, which were bedecked with jewels that were sources of all brilliance. But on the Kaurava side, there were many stalwart commanders like Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and Karna, and their military strength was as insurmountable as the great ocean. And yet it was due to Lord Krishna's grace that Arjun alone, sitting on the chariot, could manage to vanquish them one after another without difficulty. There were many changes of commanders on the other side, but on the Pandavas side, Arjun alone, on the chariot driven by Lord Krishna, could manage the whole responsibility of the great war. Similarly, when the Pandavas were living at the palace of Virat, incognito, the Kauravas picked a quarrel with King Virat and decided to take away his large number of cows. While they were taking away the cows, Arjun fought with them incognito and was able to regain the cows along with some booty taken by force. The jewels set on the turbans of the royal order. Arjun remembered that all this was possible by the grace of the Lord. So here, Srila Prabhupada is elaborating the pastime that was being recollected by Arjuna in this verse. So first he's describing the strength of the Kauravas, who were, the Kaurava army had many great commanders like Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Karna, and it was like a great ocean, their military strength. But here Arjuna is, offering Krishna, again giving Krishna that credit, saying that it was just by Krishna's grace that he was able to cross this great ocean of an army, and he was able to vanquish them without difficulty. And then the next part of the verse, Arjuna is talking about regaining cows and collecting all these helmets bedecked with lots of jewels. So here Srila Prabhupada is sharing the pastime in which when so when the Pandavas were incognito in the kingdom of Virat, I think this is they're describing the last Agyatvas, after they had completed the exile. When the Kauravas, they tried to pick a quarrel with King Virat and take away a large number of the cows. And while they were taking away the cows, Arjuna fought with the Kauravas incognito and was able to regain these cows along with the jewels on the helmets or turbans. And Arjuna is again offering this to Krishna. So if someone has good understanding and who are good at Mahabharat can share more about the story, it'd be very nice to hear. But again, Arjuna is remembering all these different pastimes, and I think we can it's a nice opportunity for us also to be able to go deeper and deeper into these pastimes and understand the mood of Arjuna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. Mataji, I can share what I know, but if Prabhuji is available or if anybody else wants to share deeply, they can please go ahead. Okay, I'll just share a few.
You please go ahead.
Okay, sure, Prabhuji. I'll share a few things that I know and then please add on or correct. So, like Mataji said, this is the pastime when they were living incognito for that last 1 year of their Agyatwas. And basically the thought of Kauravas was to discover they had this some knowledge that maybe the Pandavas are hiding in Virat. So they got this inkling from somewhere, from their spies, that maybe Pandavas are hiding in Virat. So they wanted to uncover them, and under this ploy that of capturing cows of Virat, they got permission from Dhritarashtra to go to Virat and attack on them. And they did it in such a way that they split into 2 armies, I believe. And the main army was attacking Virat. And when he found out, King Virat found out, he went with his army to fight with the soldiers of Hastinapur. But these chieftains, the commanders like Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, Karna, Duryodhan, they all came from the other side and attacked, while the main warriors of Virat were absent. So at that time, there was not really anybody to take command and fight with these supreme commanders, warriors of Hastinapur. So at that time, the King Virat's young son, the prince, who was really young, was motivated by Arjun. And you remember that Arjun is in the guise of Brihanala at that time. He was motivated by Brihanala that, I'll drive your chariot while you fight with these people and I'll help you. I have driven the chariot of Arjuna many times and I can also drive your chariot and you fight. So they both went in the field where Prince is on the chariot and Brihanala is driving the chariot. But when the prince, young prince, saw these great warriors on the field, Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, all these in front of him, he got very he got scared, he got upset that, okay, I have no, um, I cannot fight these great warriors. I don't have that much experience or training. So what should I do? So then uh, Brinala, who was Arjun, he exchanged position with Prince and he got his Gandiv and he said, I'll fight with these people and you just drive the chariot. So in this way, he was able to fight and drive away. He fought amazingly. He's Sabyasachi, his arrows, you couldn't see where they were coming or going, and he could fire arrows from all directions. From both hands, from in all directions, and that's how he was fighting on that field in front of all these great warriors, and he defeated them without any difficulty, and he got their crowns or their jewels from their crowns and some of their expensive clothes, and of course was able to save the cows. So this is the pastime that Prabhupada is talking, or Arjun is remembering here, that I was able to collect many helmets of the kings with jewels and was able to regain the cows. So this is what I know, Mataji. If please, Prabhuji or anybody who knows more, also add or correct if any mistakes in this.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, you shared beautifully actually. This was one of the, I would say, one of the probably only fight which I can remember where Arjuna and Karna were head to head, and clearly Arjuna actually came at Karna. In fact, what to say, Karna, he overcame everybody. And how did that happen? Clearly because of the mercy of Krishna. And this shows, I mean, of course, Kurus were not really expecting that they're going to be, so they had spies all around, right? I mean, even now we see every country has their spies. They go and try to get information. So similarly, Kurus also had spies, and Duryodhan specifically had put spies all around. And in Virat, one of the generals, the main person in Virat, who was very, very powerful. In fact, he was the key person on whom the whole Virat defense was. He was the foundation, and that was Kichak. Now, this Kichak, this guy, he was the brother of the queen. So Virat is the king, his wife's brother. So this Kichak was such an idiot. He started viewing Draupadi with evil eyes. So he wanted to, somehow or the other, have Draupadi as her wife or enjoy with her. And Draupadi was insulted in certain ways. Finally, Bhima, his blood started to boil, and he and Draupadi planned that how Draupadi told Kichak, okay, come, we'll have a nice time. So just come there maybe tomorrow night or something. And then he went there, and there instead of Draupadi, he found Bhima, and Bhima, he killed Kichak. And Kichak was so powerful, practically there were handful of people who could kill Kichak in the whole of the world. So as soon as Kichak died, these people understood, Duryodhan and stuff, that dal mein kuch kala hai. There's something wrong in this place. So we have to figure out something. So I think they had an ally, Susharma. They asked him, okay, you go and you attack the Virat kingdom from this side. And then they decided to attack from the opposite side. And as Susharma had attacked, then Virat took everybody in the army and went to defend. and because they had 5 powerful Pandavas, so his minister was what was his name? Kanka. Kanka was the name of Yudhishthir. So Yudhishthir, he was the advisor to the king. So he said, King, I will also come. I have also accompanied Yudhishthir Maharaj. So I will also come. And then you should take these people also. So he told to take, the others also. Bhima and Nakul Sahdev. Arjun he couldn't say because Arjun was in a form of a eunuch. So it would be very insulting to have Arjun come, a eunuch come basically. And moreover, 4 Pandavas alone, Bhim alone was enough for Susharma. Why they need to take so many? So they decided, okay, we'll all go. I will easily defeat the other party. Don't need to Arjun even. So they all went. Now, like Mataji explained, Uttar Kumar, the prince, he was the only person. And when he was, he saw the situation, he said, no problem, I'll defeat. What a big deal. And he started saying big things about him. And then they said, okay, no problem, you go. But Draupadi said, just, sometimes Arjun also would take this Brahmanala with him as a driver. He said, oh, okay, well, although I don't need anybody, but if she really wants to come and view, she can come. And then she went, Brahmanala, who's actually Arjun. And like Mataji mentioned, they switched positions. And, here we can see how a Kshatriya person thinks and how a Kshatriya person take joy in. So Kshatriya means they love fighting. They need to fight for the right cause. And Kshatriya means their blood, as soon as they see the weapons, as soon as they see an opportunity to fight for the right cause, they just cannot say no to it. But they are very intelligent and tactful. They won't jump into a fire. So Arjun did exactly that, and nobody could conquer Arjun. Even Bhishma Pitama was there, so powerful. Practically nobody was as powerful like Bhishma Pitama, but in front of Arjun, nobody could stand that day. And this is what Arjun is remembering. So thank you, Natasha Mataji, for sharing so beautifully.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anybody else would like to share?
So I think if nobody wants to share, it's already 9.
Yes, okay. So we can stop for today. Actually, this is the pastime where I don't understand how, after being defeated by Arjuna, Duryodhan ever felt that he could stand in the war. He had a leg to stand on. And he kept boasting, including him and Karna, that that they can easily defeat Pandavas.
But this is the common theme with all demoniac personalities. Vinash Kale Viparita Buddhi. If you see Ravan, why did he went to kidnap Mother Sita? If he would have had that much power, he could have gone and fought with Ram and Lakshman and taken Mother Sita. But he went in disguise, took Mother Sita, came back and still had the guts to say that, oh, Ram Lakshman will easily defeat. And then so many of his people were killed, practically strong, as strong as Ravan or even stronger. So the demons, they are like that. And even right now we see people, they may be having so many miserable situations, but they will still not take shelter of Krishna. They will still be, 7th chapter we are reading, right? How, what is it, 25th shloka? Where Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita, Mudho na Vijamati. That's 7.25, I think. Yeah. Yeah, 7.25. Naham prakash sarvasya yogamaya samavrita mudho yanna vijanati loko mam avam ajam avyayam. So Krishna says, I never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. So this is true for demons. This is true for Mayavadis. This is true for atheists. This is true for everybody who doesn't want to take shelter of Krishna and take advantage of this human form of life to actually attain the perfection of being the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Actually, that is the highest position. And everybody wants to be the servant in the spiritual world. But here, people are totally covered by illusory. So, even though they did not see in gambling, also this happened, right? Many people go and do gambling. What happens? They win one time, but they lose 20,000 times. But they think, no, 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 no. I had win one time, so at least I will win again. But here, Duryodhan, he won the gambling match. So he's thinking he'll win any such thing. So anytime question comes about fighting or battle, they think, "Arey nahi, we will defeat this time. We'll defeat. This time we'll defeat." I have practiced so much archery. I have practiced so much gada fighting that I will defeat Bhima. And he's thinking, "Oh, I will defeat Arjun because I have done so much archery." So this is like hopes against hopes. So this kind of a mentality is always there in atheistic people. It's actually in their it's a perverted reflection of the mentality in any sports. If you see any sports, cricket for example, so India doesn't think कि अरे यार इतनी बारी we have launched from Pakistan, so this time also we'll lose. Not like that, because it's a sport. So similarly, in fighting also, these Kshatriyas, they take it as a sport. They said, no, this time we'll win. This time we'll win. Does it make sense, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely. Nirmala Mataji, were you sharing something? You were
No, no, I didn't say anything.
I know we don't have time, but I just wanted to say one more thing. There was another pastime during the time of Vanvas, when Duryodhan and Karna were soundly defeated by the Gandharvas, and then Pandavas had actually I think it was just Arjun and Bhima that had saved them from Gandharvas, and Duryodhan and Karna had been defeated. Karna actually had to retreat. He had to run away. And Duryodhan was captured by Gandharvas. That's something else we can maybe talk about another day. But there was another time when they were defeated and actually had to be saved by Pandavas. It was a very shameful incident for Duryodhan. He wanted to burn himself in Samadhi after that. He was so distraught by that shameful defeat and by having to be saved by Pandavas. I was just reminded of that.
Yes, Mataji. That was the indirect way of showing that how Karna was, not as powerful as Arjun. And then the third one was when Drupad defeated actually all the Kauravas and Karna, but Arjuna and Pandavas, they became victorious. So these were the three. Two were indirect and one was direct.
Right. Yes, Prabhuji. Okay, would anyone else like to add anything? Not, we'll conclude.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Natasha Mataji, Abhiram Gopal Prabhu, for sharing nice pastimes.